If you are a seller here in the Langley real estate market right now, here in August, it's going to be tough for you, right? Especially when we look at what's going on here in the real estate market. We have July's data. We know what's been happening here, and with most certainty, we can predict what's going to happen here over the next couple months because everything more or less happens the same. Price is the only variable that really changes drastically when it comes to the trends. And so what I want to do here is give you the full picture of what's happening here so that you can make an educated decision on what to do, whether it's, list your home on the market or wait till the spring, or sorry, not wait for the spring, wait for this fall. Or if you're a buyer, if you need to wait a little bit longer, or if you should purchase right now. But at the very end, I want to show you some real estate tools, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. There's another tool I want to show you if you're just interested in the real estate market. But if you're a first-time home buyer, I truly think this is a tool that you just can't miss. And so we'll talk about that a little bit later. And so the first thing here, as we can see, we have median home prices. This is over 5 years. This is a graph on my website. You can literally use it whenever you want. There's no email. There's no nothing you need to sign up for. It's live. It gets updated every month. And so you can go check that out. Links in the description. And so what I wanted to show you here, again, median home prices, as you can see, it kind of fluctuates a little bit throughout the year. And it's kind of typical when it comes to the median home price. And so, but more or less what we can see here is there's a decline that's happening ever since 2020. Well, two wasn't really the reality, 2022. But ever since 2023, prices have been continuing to slide downwards. Should come as no surprise. And so that's what's continuing to happen here month over month. Sales. And so, like I said before, it's interesting how the exact same thing more or less happens when it comes to all the other metrics besides price. We have an uptick in sales that happened in the beginning of the year. Summertime, which we're in right now, less sales are happening. So if you are selling your house right now, expect less activity, expect less buyers coming through the door because it's summer. And that's just what the reality of happens every single year. And so don't worry too much, right? New listings, same thing. We've seen the upticks. Right now we're kind of on the backside here. There's less new listings happening here in Langley because again, people are out doing things. They're out doing on holidays or going somewhere. And what we can see here is that, September, more or less a bunch of new listings hit the market, right? September, that's September's push, that's September's push. And so what we're going to see here, so if you're a buyer right now, you're like, man, nothing's really on the market right now that I like. Well, September is going to be a lot more options for you. And so what I would say is go get pre-approved, go get all that stuff figured out. And then come September, there's going to be a lot more options for you. Now, if you're a seller, that just means there's going to be more competition for you. It's unfortunate, but there's just going to be more competition. So what you need to do is price your home right? And make sure everything is done in the home, right? The last thing you want is for people to walk in and make it look like, or make it seem like your home is not taken care of. And so that's just kind of some quick advice for you. Active listings, kind of same thing. We're kind of on the tail end here. So there's less active listings happening here right now. Next one I want to show you here is sales to active listings ratio. And this was kind of interesting, right? Langley's a spot that more things are happening here comparative to other cities. And so right now we're sitting at 18.6%. Now this is across the board, right? So detached townhome and condos, they're going to be a little bit different. We're going to get into that, so don't worry. But right now it's leaning towards more of a balanced market, they would say. And real quick, 20% or higher, so meaning 20% of the active listings that sell each month or higher, that's a seller's market, right? There's more buyers going after the same amount of goods, and so prices go up typically. Now, if it's below 12%, then it's a buyer's market, right? Prices typically tend to go downwards. And so that's what's going on here at a broad spectrum. Days on market, right? It's actually had a slight decrease here in days on market, which is kind of interesting. But it's interesting, but at the same time, when we look at month over month, the same things kind of happen, right? And so that's what's going on in the days on market. Percentage of original price. This is one for you buyers out there. They always I get this question all the time. It's like, how much can I get off the purchase price of a home? Well, here's the average, right? So right now in Langley, you're looking at about 3.3%. So on $1 million home, you're looking at about $33,000 off. And that's across the board. Now that we've gone across the board, I want to show you specifically what's happening here in each property type. And so right now, let's go back to the HPI price. What we've seen here is actually the detached market had a slight uptick, but again, when we look over the entire, last 3 years, it's been going downwards, right? Same thing with the townhomes and the detached, right? We've seen a 6.2% decrease in detached. We've seen almost a 5% decrease in the townhomes, and the apartments here are taking the biggest kick. And this is like everywhere. This isn't just Langley. Like I do reports for all these cities up here, and you can toggle them and see what's going on here. And it's graphs very interactive, which is cool. So that's not, you're not alone here. If you're in Langley, you're in an apartment, you're taking a bit of a beating. Townhomes seem to be the one that's holding true the most when it's going on here. And so that's what's going on. The price point sales, right? So again, right here, we've reached that crest right now where less sales are happening, right? And so if you're a seller and you're trying to sell your home right now, well, there's going to be less activity, less sales happening. So just be aware of that. Because again, I've said this before, but the summer months, less things happen, right? So that's what's going on here. New listings, same thing. There's less new listings hitting the market right now. So if you're a buyer, you're like, man, there's nothing going on here. Well, like I alluded to earlier, wait till September. There's going to be a lot more. Well, it's almost like, yeah, end of August, kind of September to October. That's usually when more listings hit the market. So just wait for that. Active listings, right? Things have creeped up here quite substantially, but now we're basically on the backslide here. Now less homes are, coming to the market. They're like, you know what, it's summertime, let's just take it off the market. We'll reconvene in the fall market here. And then sales to active listings ratio, like I mentioned before, we got lots of activity happening in the townhome market. Apartment market seems to be a balanced market, and the detached market also seems to be a balanced market. Days on market here, again, it's that townhome that seems to be the one that's the winning, type product or home product here. That's really having the most amount of activity. And then percentage of original price, again, townhomes holding their price the most. And so what I would say, let's just say you are thinking about getting into the townhome market, you want an apartment. Well, unfortunately right now, you're going to take more of a cut percentage-wise on your condo and then pay a little bit more for a townhome. So the gap is a little bit bigger, so maybe a little bit harder to stretch that. But then if you're thinking about selling your townhome and then moving over to a detached home, well, that gap is a little bit smaller now. And so, you could use that to your advantage. So just some food for thought for you. And then feel free to go back and use this video whenever you want. There's lots of cool things on here. And if you don't know what some of these things mean, there's a legend here. You can go check that out. Explains all the things here. And so there's just those couple real estate tools that I wanted to show you. This is obviously being one of them. And then the second one here is just these market reports. So if you don't want to go and look at a graph every time, you just want to get reports sent to you on a monthly basis, you can literally click off the ones you want, put in the information. I'll send them to you on a monthly basis. Don't you worry. And if you want to know what those market reports look like, you can see them here. You can download them, again, for free, whenever you want. And this is this is the Fraser Valley one here. So Langley, you can kind of see real quick, high-level overview numbers, happening what's here with price, and then, a big graph, which is always kind of interesting to see what's happening here, where the market has been and then where it's going. So that's that tool here. And then I'll save the home buyer, the first-time home buyer tool for the last year. But this is the home evaluation tool, absolute game changer. If you want to just know what your home is worth instantly without having to talk to anybody, you literally just put your information in here. It gives you an idea of what your home will be worth. And it's pretty accurate. Like I've used this thing hundreds of times, and I'm always blown away how accurate it is. And so all I would say, full transparency, because I believe in full transparency, is that myself or my business partner, Clark, will reach out to you. And it's just to see if you need any help. And if you don't need any help, we'll go on our way. Not an issue with us. And then this is the last one here, the true cost calculator. So this calculator can be used for multiple different things. First one is the sell tab here, which if you're looking to sell your home, you want to know what the costs are associated to selling your home. You can do that here, and it gives you like a net proceeds or an expected net proceeds. With that one, the buy tab. And so this is like if you're thinking about purchasing a home, how much of the costs are associated to purchasing a home? Because you may have never purchased a home before, so how do you know? And that leads me right into the own tab, because again, if you're a first-time home buyer, you've moving into a house or a townhome, or maybe even a detached house, you have no idea what or you may not have, I shouldn't say you have no idea, but you probably don't have an idea of what the costs are on a monthly basis. So what you do here is you put all the information in here, utilities, annual reserves for maintenance and stuff, and then it gives you a monthly total recurring cost. And so this is great, right? So what happens here, you probably talk to a lender, or if you should talk to a lender, they're gonna give you a number. But what they often forget, and this is what this calculator covers, is your lifestyle costs. Because if you're going to Starbucks, for $1,000 a month, the bank doesn't factor that in, right? And so then they tell you can afford the home, then you go buy the home, and then you realize you can't afford your $1,000 bill a month Starbucks. That's a problem, right? But if you're aware of it and you know ahead of time, then that's another thing. So what this chart here does is it takes the monthly costs, it takes your income, it takes the fixed expenses that you have, it takes the variable livings, groceries, dining out, it takes everything and literally gives you a number and telling you how much money you're gonna have left over at the end of the year. Because that's what you need, or not the year, end of the month, I should say, because that's super important, right? If you know ahead of time that you're gonna be losing $50 a month, okay, maybe we gotta adjust our spending, maybe we gotta adjust our lifestyle. So that's what I would say. Go use that tool. And so that's what's pretty much happening here. I wanna show you some tools, show what's going on in the Langley real estate market. Now, if you are checking out homes, going to open houses, I want to encourage you to watch this video right here. It's how to spot a bad house in 60 seconds, where I literally go over everything that you need to know when it comes to things to look for in a home. And so go check that one out. But as always, I appreciate you watching, sticking around with me, and I'll see you in the next one.